Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय।
Jai
श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय।
Jai
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So, we read so far that when Gopinath Acarya brought Mukunda with him to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house after taking the morning darshan of Jagannath, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was inquiring from Mukunda Datta about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name and from which ashram he had taken sannyas. And when he found out that he was from the Bharati Sampradaya, he felt that Bharati Sampradaya was not a first class Sampradaya for sannyas. So he expressed that. And Gopinath Acharya said, but Mahaprabhu doesn't need the advantage of taking sannyas from a first class sampradaya. He doesn't care for these things and he doesn't need them. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, but he's a young person. He's in the prime of his youth and he's so handsome, so beautiful. How is he going to protect his sannyas dharma? I will make him hear the Vedanta again and again. By this, he'll be able to maintain the vows of sannyas. He'll remain detached. And then he actually said that I can get him if Mahaprabhu agrees, then I can actually get him. Uh, I can arrange for him to take for the ceremony where one accepts saffron cloth. I can arrange for that ceremony once again, but this time from the Saraswat Gaudiya Math, not Gaudiya Math, Saraswat, sannyas ashram. Then, so from Saraswati Sampradaya, he can get the sannyas. So this will be prestigious. I can arrange for it. But when Mukunda and Gopinath Acharya heard this, they felt hurt. What is this? Right? And then Gopinath Acharya actually said, but you don't understand, right? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in Bhagwan also you have, you have Vishnu Tattva. They're all Vishnu Tattva, but the highest, right? Because there is Swayam Bhagwan, Purna Bhagwan, who has 100% all qualities. And then there are the Amshas of the Supreme Lord, the Vishnu Tattva. I'm explaining this. Basically, what uh, Gopinath Acarya said was, he is Bhagwan with the qualities of Bhagwan to the highest extent. Hmm? So, then he also said that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but those who are ignorant, they won't understand. They have a problem in accepting the conclusion of those who are learned. That means those who are learned are able to see the position of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when they say this, the ignorant are not able to accept it. Then immediately the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya retorted, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the evidence for this? Right? Where do you find the evidence that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So yesterday we read that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's students' challenge is actually valid. That's the main point that we read yesterday in the purport. Because unless there is pramana, proof from Shastra, you cannot just accept anyone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is evidence. And, we saw how the highest evidence is from Srimad Bhagavatam. But just like for Krishna there is evidence, there's also evidence for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although he is Channa avatar, but still there is evidence in Shastra. So Shastra is Pramana. You cannot just accept anyone and everyone as a Supreme Lord. There has to be proof from Shastra. So the challenge of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's disciples is valid. So they said, what is the proof that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then, Shishya ko hai Ishvara Tattva, Sadhi Anumane, Acharya ko hai Anumane nahe Ishvara Jnane. Okay. The disciple said, Ishvara Tattva Sadhi Anumane. What is Sadhi Anumane? Derive by hypothesis. That means the disciples of Bhattacharya said, we derive knowledge of the absolute truth by logical hypothesis. Okay. What is pramana? There are 10 ways in which you can get. So what is pramana? Pramana means pramana is the proof, the evidence of something. Okay, pramana means the evidence. So for example, you can get knowledge through pramanas, right? Like there has to be an evidence of some knowledge. If you say, let's say anything, any particular knowledge. Let's say, okay, this bottle is green in color. Okay, this bottle is green in color. So then, what is the evidence for that? How do you know the bottle is green in color? So I see with my eyes are showing me it's green, so it is green. So that's one way of gaining knowledge. So one pramana is your direct perception. I'm seeing with my ears, or with my eyes. I'm seeing with my own eyes, or I hear with my own ears, right? Or I taste. I find out, something is bitter or not, or it is sweet by tasting it, and I get knowledge. So one way of getting knowledge is Pratyaksa. Pratyaksa means by direct sense perception you get knowledge. That's one way. The other way, so there are actually 10 ways only. So So there is Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda, Upamana, Aitihya, Arsha, Arthapati, Sambhava, and Cheshta. So there are 10 like this ways of getting knowledge. And these 10 are further boiled down to. So these 10 can be finally categorized into 3. You can bring them down, you can, by, you can group them into ultimately 3 types. What are they? Pratyaksha, Anumana and Savbda Pramana. So Pratyaksha Pramana means the knowledge which is derived by direct perception. So what is the Pramana in Pratyaksha? Your senses are Pramana. With your senses you get knowledge. You see, you hear, you taste, you smell, you touch, and also there's a 6th sense. That's your mind. With your mind also. So the 6th one, so Pratyaksha Pramana. The second one is called Anumana Pramana. Anumana means this is the hypothesis. Hypothesis means, so what is the foundation for this Anumana Pramana? Anumana Pramana means you form a Vyapti Jnanam. That means by your direct perception, you form a rule in your mind. This is an example. So you see in the kitchen, when you cook on the stove, you see on the gas stove, you're cooking, there's a flame. Well, not in the gas stove, not gas stove, but in the, in the villages, uh, uh, wood stove. When you're cooking something on a wood stove, what happens when there is fire? Smoke comes. So you're cooking, and from that every day you'll see when you're cooking from fire, there is smoke coming. Okay. Then you also go to the cow shed, Goshala. And in villages, in Goshala, when flies and mosquitoes, they come and bite the cows, what do? They put this dry grass, not dry grass, wet grass. They set fire to wet grass. What happens? Lot of smoke comes. And because of this smoke, all the flies and mosquitoes go away. They actually do it on purpose. So this person, let's say one person whose name is Devadatta, he sees in the kitchen every day that whenever he is lighting fire, there is smoke coming. Then again he'll see in the Goshala also, when he lights fire, he sees lot of smoke coming. Okay. Then in winter time, another place, when it is winter time, they put fire all night long. And then the men, they sleep around that fire at night when it is cold, because that will keep them warm. So there also he sees there is smoke coming from fire. So from his direct experience from different places, he makes a rule in his mind. This rule that he makes is called Vyapti Jnanam. What is that rule? He saw that whenever there is fire, there is smoke coming from fire. Whenever there or smoke comes, the only way that smoke can come is through fire. Okay? Not that whenever there is fire, smoke comes, but from his experience, he sees that smoke comes only when there is fire. There is no other way that smoke can come. Okay? That means whenever I see smoke, so not the first one, not when there is fire, smoke comes. Whenever there is smoke, it means there must be fire. Yatra yatra dhumaha, tatra tatra vahini. Dhumaha means smoke, vahini means fire. Whenever I see smoke, I know for a fact there must be fire. Clear? So now this rule he formed in his mind. Now wherever one day he happened to go to a hill near the village, there was a hill, and on top of the hill he saw so much smoke coming. What will he think? Oh, now he'll immediately remember. He will remember what? His Vyapti Jnanam, that rule that was made in his mind from direct experience. What is that rule? Whenever there is smoke, it means there must be fire. There is so much smoke coming from this mountain, that means there must be fire on this mountain. Has he seen the fire? No. But what is the knowledge he got? There is fire on this smoke. He's not seeing fire. I mean, yeah, there is fire on this mountain. He has not seen fire, but he gets the knowledge that there is fire on this mountain. How he got this knowledge? He got this knowledge because of his Anumana Pramana. What is that Anumana Pramana? What is that Pramana? In direct perception, what was the Pramana? My senses were the evidence, right? In Anumana Pramana, what is the evidence? The evidence is his Vyapti Jnanam, the rule that he made, that is his evidence. The rule is whenever there is smoke, there will be fire. So this is called Anumana Pramanam. So getting knowledge through hypothesis is called Anumana Pramanam. Of course, the root of this Anumana Pramanam is where, how he even formed that rule, that is also based on the sense perception, isn't it? First, he got knowledge from sense perception. In the kitchen he saw, then he also saw in the Goshala, and again he saw in the campfire that whenever there is smoke, it means it is coming from fire. There must be fire. That then he formed that Vyapti Jnanam, or that rule, and that rule is the foundation for. So that rule is Pramana for him. So whenever he saw, wherever he sees smoke, even he doesn't see fire, he will get knowledge that there is fire in this place. By seeing smoke, immediately he knows there is fire in this place. So this is an example of Anumana Pramana, how to get knowledge through Anumana Pramana. So here, what are the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saying? Shishya kohe Ishvara Tattva Sadhi Anumane. So how we will know what is the evidence? Remember, what did they say? The students of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said that, what is the evidence? What is the Pramana? That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what Pramana are they looking for? They want Anumana Pramana. You can know who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Anumana Pramana. Now, one more point I'll tell you here. So there are defects in Pratyaksa Pramana and Anumana Pramana. There are defects. What are the defects? And what is Shabda Pramana? Shabda Pramana means the sound is the evidence. Knowledge which you receive by hearing. Okay? So now I'm speaking and you're hearing. And by hearing, you're getting some knowledge. This is called Shabda Pramana. So, of the three, Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda Pramana, which Pramana is reliable? Which is most reliable? Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana or Shabda Pramana? You may think Pratyaksha Pramana. Modern day they will say seeing is believing. When you see something, when you perceive something directly, then I will accept it. Like people come and challenged Prabhupada, can you show me God? When I see myself, that's when I will accept. Isn't it? That's what people think generally. Pratyaksha Pramana is the most reliable. But actually, no. Pratyaksha Pramana is not the most reliable source of knowledge. Right? It's not the most reliable source. Nor is Anumana Pramana. You know why? Because what is the basis for Pratyaksha Pramana? Your senses. You get knowledge through your senses. But inherently, the senses have four defects. The senses have four defects inherently. What are they? Four defects are Brahma, Pramada, Karana Patava, and Vipralipsa. Brahma, Karana Patava, Pramada, and Vipralipsa. These are the four defects in the senses. What is Brahma? Brahma means illusion, taking one thing for another. We have so much faith in our senses, but when there is no light, can I see what's happening? Even if the thing is there, I won't see that it is there. Or I may take one thing to be something else. In the evening or in the night when it is getting dark, I see a person standing, but I think it's a pole. Or I see a pole and I take it to be a person. That means my senses are still there, but if other conditions are not met, I cannot get the right knowledge. I can get illusion. Or in the kitchen, right? Sometimes it happens there is salt and there is sugar. Both are there. You don't know which is salt, which is sugar. And you're making some sabji and you'll put sugar instead of salt. Why? Brahma, illusion. You're seeing, but you're not able to tell what it is. So therefore, any knowledge which is acquired through sense perception is not always, sometimes it may give you right knowledge, but it's not a fact that it will always give you right knowledge. So you should not depend on knowledge which is acquired by direct perception. That's not the most reliable knowledge. Sometimes it may give you right knowledge, but we want that pramana which will give you right knowledge every time. It will never give you wrong knowledge. So can you rely on direct perception? No. So therefore Pratyaksha Pramana is not reliable. The reason is the knowledge is derived through senses, and senses inherently have four defects. One I said is Brahma. Brahma means illusion. Second is Karana Patava. Karana Patava means it is limited. You can only get, like if other so Brahma means illusion. What is that illusion? Taking one thing for another. Karana Patava means you can only see so much with your senses. What is behind this wall, I don't know. Right? It is limited. Karana Patava means the knowledge that you can get through sense perception is limited, isn't it? I have to rely on other sources. For example, what is happening in India right now, I cannot see. I will have to rely on Shabda Praman for that. Right? I'll get someone tells me what's happening there, then I can get knowledge. Can I see with my eyes? No, I cannot get all knowledge with Pratyaksha Pramana, because it's a limited. That's called Karana Patava. Then the third thing is Pramada. Pramada means now we make mistakes. The senses are prone to making mistakes. Just like when I thought this sugar is salt, that was Brahma. And what was the result of that Brahma? I put that sugar in the sabji thinking it is salt, and the sabji spoiled. This is called mistakes. It's a pramada. You made the mistake because of the senses. And the fourth one is vipralipsa. Vipralipsa is in the mind, right? Or the intelligence. What is that? Knowingly you cheat. You cheat, right? For example, there's a blind person and he is trying to get knowledge, and you give him knowledge. Knowingly you tell lies to him. He's asking, is there traffic on this road? And there's a truck coming and you say, no, there is no traffic, you can go. So that person gets knowledge from you that, oh, there is no traffic, and then he'll be going, and all of a sudden, that means the knowledge that he got, this is of course Shabda, through sound he got that knowledge. But let's say this Vipralipsa is there in the second one. Anumana Pramana will have Vipralipsa. So you can get cheated. You can get cheated in Vipralipsa. Vipralipsa means cheating, right? So the knowledge which you get through your mind and intelligence can actually, you don't get the right knowledge because of cheating. So that's the best example. Someone is giving you the knowledge, but they tell you a lie and you don't know. And best example is, we get knowledge from books, reading books. Scientists have given, so many theories, or even they say this is a fact. They have researched it and they've given, like when we were children, we studied there are 9 planets. And now I don't know how many there are. They added more. No, it's this much. So this is based on their Anumana, hypothesis. They've given you knowledge and you have accepted it as true. But is it true? No, because they thought it is that much, but then later on they say, no, it's not right. But you thought that was knowledge. Your knowledge was wrong, right? So, or sometimes knowingly also they can give you wrong information because of cheating. You understand? So, knowledge which is derived through Anumana Pramana can have the defect of vipralipsa, cheating. The person who's giving you that knowledge can have some ulterior motives and he can give you wrong knowledge. So that defect is also there. Apart from the defects in the senses, there's also, uh, you know, the defect of cheating, which is in the mind. So like this, knowledge which you derive through Pratyaksa and Anumana is not reliable. Then you can say, is Shabda Pramana reliable? Shabda Pramana means knowledge which you derive by, so you hear a sentence, right? I say something, um, I say in English, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You get knowledge by hearing this sound. Oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So is this knowledge reliable or not? This knowledge is reliable. How you got this knowledge? You heard from me. How I'm telling you this? I heard from Shastra and I'm telling you. So what is the root of this knowledge? It is coming from Shastra. Shastra means again, so this is a big establishment. We don't have so much time. It's already 6:30. But this is nicely analyzed and established by Srila Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha. So the only reliable source of knowledge is not just Shabda Pramana, but non-defective Shabda Pramana. Because even Shabda, the sound, like I told you, the scientists who have given us knowledge, that is also Shabda Pramana. Through sound, so sound means either hearing or reading, same thing. By reading or hearing, you're getting knowledge from statements. You hear a sentence and by hearing that, you're getting some knowledge. Or you're reading a sentence, by that you're getting knowledge. This getting knowledge through sentence or by hearing a sentence, that knowledge is Shabda Pramana. You have to see what is the root, what is the source of that sentence. If that sentence is coming from a source which has no defects, then that is non-defective Shabda. But if that sentence is coming from a source which has defects, so now the scientists, how the scientists are giving us this knowledge? Based on their Anumana, isn't it? They first observe some things that are, for example, what's his name? Aristotle, right? Who saw the apple fall from the Newton. Newton, sorry.
Newton.
Newton. He saw the apple fall from the tree, and then he observed this phenomena, and then he came up with the idea of gravitational force. Everything is coming down. So then that understanding that of gravitational force, that is his Vyapti Jnanam. Vyapti Jnanam means that is the rule that he made by observation. And based on that, now he gave us laws, Newton's laws, 1, 2, 3, right? And based on those laws, now so many inventions have been made. So the source of all these inventions is Newton's laws, and how these laws were made based on his direct perception. Okay, so it's not that the knowledge which is coming from direct perception is always wrong. No, it's not always wrong, but it is not always right. It does not work under every circumstance. You cannot take it as absolute. That knowledge is not absolute. That is the point. So then the knowledge that we are getting in the books, you cannot rely if that knowledge is based on somebody's direct perception. You cannot rely on it as for absolute knowledge. But if there is a statement given in Vedas, or if there's a statement given in the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, can you accept it as absolute? Yes, because these statements are free from defects. You know why? These statements are not written by any human being or any person for that matter. Because as soon as you say a person has written it, then he has some senses, and his senses are prone to have defects. With defective senses, whatever knowledge is given, it is prone to be defective. But the scriptures are directly manifested at the beginning of creation. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Right? At the beginning of creation, from the heart of the Lord, it was transmitted to the heart of Lord Brahma. The Vedas manifest, they appear at the beginning of creation. They are not written by anyone. What Vyasadeva gives us in written form is the Vedas which are already there. They're there in every yuga. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. Satya, Treta, Dwapar Vedas are already there before. In Kali Yuga, what Vyasadeva did is, because people are so less intelligent, Manda, Sumanda, Matayo, Manda, Bhagya, Yupadrutaha. Because of this, he has put them down in a written form, and even that he has divided them. There's only one Veda originally, Yajur Veda. Then he has made, to make it simple for people to understand, he has classified it. This is Rig Veda, this is Samaveda, this is Atharva Veda, and again these are Yajur Veda based on the mantras that each of the priests, in a yagya there are 4 priests, right? There is Hota, there is Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma. Like this, there are 4 on the, when there is a yagya, on 4 sides 4 priests sit and they are performing yagya. You know what is the significance of these 4 priests? Each priest is chanting mantras from a particular. So the Hota is chanting mantras from Rig Veda. So what Vyasadeva did was, originally all the mantras were in one Veda, Yajur Veda. To make it simple for the people of Kali Yuga, he took all the mantras of Rig Veda, all the mantras to be recited by this Hota priest. He put them in Rig Veda. So now this priest, he only has to study Rig Veda. He doesn't have to study the whole Vedas, because the capacity is not so much in Kali Yuga. People cannot retain everything. So he gave that much. Then to the next priest, he gave the Samaveda, right? Udgata is the priest. He gets Samaveda. Advaryu is the priest, he gets the mantras from Yajur Veda. And Brahma, he gets the priest he is the priest who gets mantras from Atharva Veda, like this. And then apart from this, there are Puranas and Itihasas. That's called Panchama Veda. Like this, there are 5 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, and Purana and Itihasas. This Vedvyas has divided one Veda into 5 and gave it a written form. So he would say, and Ganeshji put it down. He wrote it. This is what happened. But not that Vedas are written by Vyasadeva. No, Vedas are eternally existing. They manifested. That means they don't have the defects of the senses. They don't have the defects of the intelligence. Brahma, Karana, Patava, Vipralipsa, and Pramada, they are not there in the Vedic knowledge. So any knowledge which you derive from the Shastra, that means from the Vedas, and then further, when you say Vedas, these 4 Vedas and Purana Itihasas. And within Purana Itihasas also there are 18 Puranas and there are Itihasas. Then you should see which of these is the most reliable, or which is the topmost, which is the best. So Puranas, between Puranas and Itihasas, Puranas are more, they're superior. They're superior for getting knowledge. And in Puranas also, there are 18 Puranas. 6 are in goodness, 6 are in the mode of passion, or 6 are for the people in goodness, 6 for the people in passion, 6 for the people in ignorance. So, which are more reliable, superior? Those Puranas, Satvika Puranas. There are Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika Puranas. Satvika Puranas are superior. And within Satvika Puranas, some Puranas, Vishnu Purana is there, which is highlighting Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then you have Srimad Bhagavatam, which says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then who should we accept? Like that. So in this way, very systematically establishing, analyzing, Srila Jiva Goswami establishes that the Cakravarty Pramana, Cakravarty means Emperor Pramana, is Srimad Bhagavatam. That means if any statement is made in Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the ultimate Pramana. When you have, a case in the law, in the law court, then you have to show evidence, right? When you show the evidence, then your statement is accepted. So like that, when any statement is made, you have to look for the evidence. What is the strongest evidence? The strongest evidence is the statement from Srimad Bhagavatam. When you present the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, even if there are statements which are contradictory to that statement from other scriptures, other Puranas also, or other parts of the Vedas, if there is a statement which is contradicting the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, which has more weight? Srimad Bhagavatam has the highest weight. How? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is established, and as I told you briefly today, it is systematically established step by step how Srimad Bhagavatam is the Cakravarty, is the emperor. It is the topmost pramana. Anything said in Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be refuted. It is ultimate. And what does Srimad Bhagavatam say? Ete chamsa kala pumsaha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridayanti yuge yuge. So krishnastu bhagavan swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called the Paribhasha Sutram. Paribhasha Sutram. That means in the 18,000 shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's only one place where this is said, and this is said in the Sutra Adhyaya. Sutra Adhyaya means the declaration chapter. In the entire book, there's one place called the declaration chapter. Declaration chapter is like that chapter which is, again, for something to be declaration chapter, sutra, it has to satisfy certain conditions. That it should say what is there in the entire book should be said in a concise way. And it should include everything. It should not be lacking anything. And like this, there are 6 qualities, 6 characteristic features, which conditions which it must satisfy. Then that is taken as sutra or the declaration chapter. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the declaration chapter? It is the 3rd chapter. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. 1st canto, 3rd chapter. So all the incarnations, whatever you see there, that is what is being described in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the subject matter of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that declaration chapter you will find this Paribhasha Sutram, Ete cham sakala pumsaha krishnastu bhagavan swayam. So this is just like sun is in one place in the sky, and from there the sun is giving light to the whole universe, right? To the 3 worlds, 3 planetary systems. It's giving upper, middle, lower planetary system. Sun is giving its light, although it is located in one place. Similarly, this Paribhasha Sutram will be located only in one place in the entire book, but from there its power is so much, its authority is so much that it will shed light throughout the entire scripture. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate pramana, and within Srimad Bhagavatam also this Paribhasha Sutram is the guiding lamp for the entire book. Wherever, even in some other places of Srimad Bhagavatam, if it says Vishnu is supreme and Krishna is Amsha of Vishnu, it can be said in Bhagavatam itself. There who will have more weight? Which statement has more weight? Paribhasha Sutram has more weight, because this is the guiding lamp. Like this, very systematically, Srila Jiva Goswami establishes the ultimate pramana for knowledge. So now, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On what basis? On this basis of pramana. What are the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saying? Because they are from which school? They are from the Shankaracharya school, right? Their authority, their pramana is Anumana Pramana, logic. But Anumana Pramana is inferior to, it's already established, Anumana Pramana is inferior to non-defective Shabda Pramana. When you quote anything from Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the ultimate. Nothing can refute that. So with that background, now let us go back and see what the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya are saying. Shishya ko hai Ishvara Tattva Sadhi Anumane. What does that mean? The disciples are saying, Bhattacharya said, we derive knowledge of the absolute truth by logical hypothesis. That means Anumana Pramana. We will decide who is the supreme by logical hypothesis. Then what did Gopinath Acharya say? Acharya kohe Anumane nahi Ishvara Jnane. By Anumana you cannot come to conclusion about who is Ishvara. That's not the way. Because Anumana has defects. How can you arrive at the right conclusion by Anumana? So Gopinath Acharya replied, one cannot attain real knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such logical hypothesis and argument. Even in Mahabharat, Srila Vyasadeva says, Tarko apratisthanam. Tarka means logic. Tarka has no pratishtha. Tarka has no importance. You cannot arrive at any conclusion by logic. You cannot arrive at any because logic, you will produce one logic, then the opponent will produce some other logic. There won't be any conclusion by logic. You'll just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You will never come to any conclusion. Then you will say, okay, from Shrutis we will come to a conclusion. Then Mahabharata says, srutayo vibhinna. There are so many Shrutis, the Vedas are so vast. You present something from this Shruti and another Shruti says something else. There can be contradictory statements. You should be able to reconcile. Who's going to reconcile it? That's why Shrutis are unlimited. If you say something from this, someone says something from the other, then again that will go on. You won't be able to come to a conclusion by Shruti. That's why Vyasadeva gave us Vedanta. Vedanta means what is the essence of the Vedas? What is it that the Vedas are guiding us to? The Vedas are guiding us to the absolute truth. That is the purpose. Although you'll find so many topics, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, but the purpose of all this is to bring us to the point of the absolute truth. So that is given, the essence of the Vedas is given in the Vedanta. It's also called Upanishads. Vedanta is also called Upanishads. So in the Vedas you have four types. Within the Vedas you have four sections. You have Brahmanas, you have Aranyakas, you have Samhitas, and you have Upanishads. Upanishads are the conclusion of the Vedas. In Upanishads you will find the conclusion of the Vedas. Okay? And that's why Upanishads are also called Vedanta. But within Upanishads also you will find contradictory statements, or in other words you can say like a paradox, opposing statements, not exactly contradictory, like Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. He is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. The absolute truth is smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. How do you reconcile this? He is so big and he is so small. How will you, how can, because normally it's not possible, isn't it? But these statements are reconciled where? In Vedanta Sutras. So Vyasadeva has given the opposing statements that are found in the Vedanta or in the Upanishads. He has reconciled them nicely in short, concise statements, sutras, called the Vedanta Sutras. That is the Vedanta Sutra. What is the purpose? The purpose is to bring us to the absolute truth. That is the purpose of the whole Vedas. And the Vedanta Sutras, after writing also, Vyasadeva was not happy. Then who came? Narad Muni came. And what did Narad Muni say? Oh, Vyasadeva, you're not feeling happy because you did not emphasize Krishna, the glory of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You may have mentioned once here or there, but that is not sufficient. You have to establish that this is the goal. Glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakti is not just a tool to go to Swarga. It is not just a tool, use Bhakti to get liberation. That's not the purpose. Bhakti itself is the goal. To get that Prema Bhakti itself is the goal. Like this you have to show. So right now Srimad Bhagavatam. So the same author who wrote Vedanta Sutra, he gave us Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas. That is why it is the ultimate Pramana. It is the ripened fruit. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukhad amrita drava samyutam. Pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Right? So this nigama kalpataror galitam phalam, it is the ripened fruit of the tree of all the Vedas. This Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what is the proof? Gopinath Acarya said, one cannot attain real knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such logical hypothesis and argument. No, you won't understand. You cannot come to the conclusion of who is the Supreme Lord by logical hypothesis. So I was telling you in Mahabharat, Vyasadeva says, srutayo vibhinna. You cannot come to conclusion by, quoting srutis, from srutis by, like all so many, uh, uh, you know, like Pandits of different shrutis or Vedas, they'll sit together and they'll say, this Veda says this is the Supreme Personality. Someone else says, that Purana says, someone says, no, this Purana says, Shiva Purana says Shiva, Vishnu Purana says Vishnu, Bhagavatam says Krishna. Who will give the conclusion? This will go on forever. That's also not the way. Right? Tarka, by logic, if you try to come to conclusion, not possible. By shrutis, you try to find out from shrutis, not possible. There are too many shrutis. That finally, what is the way? Maha, jano, yena, gatasya, pantha. You have to follow the footprints of Mahajans. Who is a Mahajan? Right? We have 12 Mahajans. Right? Mahajan means those who are authorities in bhakti. So by following in their footsteps, then you can understand what is the conclusion. That is the only way to understand. So for us, Narad Muni has given us Narad Bhakti Sutras, right? Pancharatra Vidhi. So like this, you can understand what is the conclusion by following the great devotees. So the devotees know the Shastras, right? And they received it in parampara, disciplic succession. Of course, the foundation is still Shastra, but Shastric knowledge received through parampara, right? That is the way to get the right knowledge. This is the descending process. So Gopinath Acharya is saying, you are saying the evidence for you about who is the Supreme Lord is Anumana Pramana. So Gopinath Acharya is saying, no, one cannot get real knowledge, Vastava Jnanam, you cannot get about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Lord, by Anuman Pramana, by hypothesis you will find out who is the Supreme Lord. No, it's not possible. One cannot attain real knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such logical hypothesis and argument. Purport: the Mayavadi philosophers in particular make certain hypotheses about the absolute truth. They reason that in the material world we experience that everything is created. What is their logic here? Material world, whatever you see, everything is created. It started at some point. If we trace the history of anything, we find a creator. Therefore, there must be a creator of this huge cosmic manifestation. Right? That means within this creation, the creator has to be outside of this creation, isn't it? Just like if I say this phone, okay? This phone is the creator of this phone in the phone? No. This phone is created, the creator of this phone is outside of this phone. Makes sense, right? Glasses. I have glasses. Now, is the creator, is it possible that the creator of this glasses is in the glasses? No. He has to be outside of these glasses, isn't it? And the creator of this body, can the creator of this body be inside this body? He has to be out. This is their logic, okay? Someone else creates, right? So I'm born from my father and mother. I'm not the cause of this body. I didn't produce this body. Like this. So they say this universe is one creation. So the creator of this universe also has to be outside of this universe. That's their logic, okay? The Mayavadi's logic about who is the creator. So if we trace the history of anything, we find a creator. Therefore, there must be a creator of this huge cosmic manifestation. By such reasoning, they come to the conclusion that a higher power has created this cosmic manifestation. So far, so good, no problem. The creator has to be outside of this cosmic manifestation. The Mayavadis do not accept this great power to be a person. That's a problem. Okay, it has to be outside of this creation, but they think that we see people only inside this creation because you don't see outside of this creation. You don't have the capacity to see what is outside of this creation, isn't it? So, whatever I'm seeing, all types of people, persons, whether animals or whatever, people, they're inside this creation only. So the person who, the one who is creating this cannot be a person, because person means he's inside the creation. That is their hypothesis. It's not a fact. Their hypothesis. The Mayavadis do not accept that creator has to be outside of this creation, and that person, that cannot be a person, because person means he has to be inside creation. The Mayavadis do not accept this great power to be a person. That great power who has created this universe cannot be a person. Their brains cannot accommodate the fact that the huge cosmic manifestation can be created by a person, because the person is, in their experience, the person is limited. A person can create some small thing or some building, but how will a person will create the whole entire material creation, the whole universe? So it cannot be a person. Their small brains cannot accommodate the fact that the whole huge cosmic manifestation can be created by a person. They doubt this because as soon as they think of a person, they think of a person within the material world with limited potency. So they don't have any experience of a person with unlimited potencies. So as soon as they think of a person, they think he has limited potency. Sometimes the Mayavadi philosophers will accept Krishna or Lord Ram as Bhagavan, but they think the Lord as a person having material body. Yes, this is their offense to the Supreme Lord. Sometimes they accept him as Bhagavan. Yes, he's Bhagavan. They even worship. But their idea is because he's a person, person means he should have a material body. That's their hypothesis. So therefore, based on their experience, right, or limited experience, so therefore they accept, because it's a fact that Lord Ramchandra has appeared. He performed pastimes. That bridge you can still see. Krishna appeared. So yes, they are real people, and they did extraordinary activities which ordinary people cannot do. So yes, it is Bhagwan. But Bhagwan is outside of this creation. When he comes inside this creation, he accepts a material body. That is the offense that they make. Okay? Mayavadi philosophers will accept Lord Krishna or Lord Ram as Bhagwan, but they think of the Lord as a person having a material body. The Mayavadis do not understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, has a spiritual body. They think of Krishna as a great personality, a human being, within whom there is the supreme impersonal power. This is all concoction, right? By hypothesis or logic, that not logic. They just make up, speculate that he is, Krishna is a human being, but inside him is this great power who is the creator. But his body is material, he is human. They think of Krishna as a great personality, a human being within whom there is the supreme impersonal power, Brahman. Therefore, they finally conclude that the impersonal Brahman is the supreme, not the personality Krishna. This is the basis of Mayavadi philosophy. However, from the Shastras, that's why the proof is not your hypothesis or Anumana Pramana. The proof is non-defective Shabda Pramana. Uh, However, from the Shastras, we can understand that the Brahman effulgence consists of the bodily rays of Krishna. What is this Brahman? They are saying Brahman is the ultimate power, but actually this Brahman is the effulgence coming from the body of Krishna. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotishvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkalamanantam ashesha bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. I serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the primeval Lord, the effulgence of whose transcendental body is known as the Brahma Jyoti. So this is Shastra. So you take knowledge about Brahman from Shastra, not from your Anumana. They say Brahman is the Supreme. What is Brahman? Take from Shastra. Brahman is the effulgence from the body, transcendental body, not material body, transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Brahmajyoti, which is unlimited, unfathomed, and all-pervasive, is the cause of the creation of unlimited numbers of planets with varieties of climates and specific conditions of life. Brahma Samhita 540. Okay, I'll just finish this purport. Mayavadi philosophers study the Vedic literature, but they do not understand that in the last stage of realization, the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Right? Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. Absolute truth is realized in three stages: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. What is the last word? Bhagavan is the last word in absolute truth realization, and even in Bhagavan, the ultimate is Krishna. The complete Purna form is Krishna. They do accept, the Mayavadi philosophers, they don't understand that actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the last stage of realization of absolute truth that they don't understand. They do accept the fact that there is a creator of this cosmic manifestation, but that is Anumana, hypothesis. The Mayavadi philosopher's logic is something like seeing smoke on a hill and concluding that there is a fire. When there is a forest fire on a high hill, smoke is first of all visible. Since it is known that smoke is created when there is fire, from seeing the smoke on the hill, one can conclude that a fire is burning there. Similarly, from seeing this cosmic manifestation, the Mayavadi philosophers conclude that there must be a creator. That's natural, right? That's totally natural. If there is a creation, means there must be a creator, and that creator must be outside of that creation. So this is their hypothesis. No problem with that. The disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted evidence to show that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually the creator of this cosmic manifestation. Okay, they want evidence that you're saying he's the creator. What is the evidence that he's the creator of this whole cosmic manifestation? Show me the proof. Only then would they accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of creation. Gopinath Acarya replied that one could not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by guesswork or by hypothesis. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:25, Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati lokomam ajam avyayam. I am not visible to everyone, Krishna says. I cover their vision with my yogamaya. They won't see me. Who? The mudhas will not see me. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my eternal creative potency Yogamaya. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. The Supreme Personality of Godhead reserves the right of not being exposed to non-devotees. He has a right. He won't, it's not like anyone can, no, he won't show himself. He can only be understood by bona fide devotees, right? Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. Krishna says that's his system, right? He can only be understood by bona fide devotees. Lord Krishna says elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhaktyamam abhijanati. One can understand me only by the devotional process. In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita 4:3, Lord Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. Right? Arjun, why I am telling you? In the 4th chapter, Krishna says, it's not, nobody can know me, but I am telling you this. Why? Because you are qualified. You are my devotee. Therefore, you are qualified to understand the secret of my position. Not everyone can understand. Here Lord Krishna informs Arjun that he is disclosing the secrets of the Bhagavad Gita to him, to Arjun, because he is his devotee. Arjun was not a sannyasi, he was not a Vedantist or Brahmana, right? Because usually who studies Vedanta? The sannyasis study, Brahmanas study. Arjun was not a Brahmana, he was not a sannyasi. Still Krishna is giving him Bhagavad Gita. What was Arjun's qualification? He was a devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that we have to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, same, maha jano yatasya pantha. Maha jano yena yatasya pantha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. Guru Krishna kripaye pai bhakti lata bij. More evidence can be cited to show that without the mercy of a devotee or the mercy of Krishna, one cannot understand what is Krishna and what is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the next verse. So, the conclusion is, you will not be able to understand, you will not be able to conclude who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is by logic or by hypothesis. You can only understand from a devotee, and also from a devotee means you have to receive the mercy of a devotee. That's when you will understand. Even after you read and hear from scriptures, if you don't get the mercy of a pure devotee, you won't understand. You won't understand. 2 people, 10 people will be sitting in a class. Not everyone will get the same conviction that, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That person who receives the kripa, the mercy of a Shuddha Bhakta, that person will get conviction. Yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and my only duty is to render devotional service to him. Right? So that is why Guru Krishna Kripaya Pai. You need Kripa of a Vaishnava. And then in that Kripa of the Vaishnava will be like, eclairs, chocolates. Inside you have the soft part and on top you have the heart. So inside is Krishna's Kripa hidden. Where is Krishna's Kripa hidden? Inside the Kripa of a Vaishnava. So Guru Krishna. When you get Guru's Kripa, then you'll get Krishna's Kripa. Guru Krishna Kripaya Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. And then you start your bhakti. So this will be discussed further in the next verses. But here the main thing was that students of Sarvabhauma Bhattacarya challenged what is the evidence that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the evidence is, they are saying hypothesis. Gopinath Acarya said, no, hypothesis cannot be the evidence. Hypothesis cannot be the evidence to arrive at the conclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we'll stop there. We had a full 1 hour class today, but it was an important topic. So I had to
Very,
take.
very nice, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.